We now say hello to Lakers point guard Steve Nash, joining us live on SportsCenter. We have some big soccer news to get to with Mr. Nash, but first, Steve, if I could get to your day job. And you were pretty banged up last season, as we know, only played in 50 games, which for you is not a lot. The leg injury, ongoing back issues. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. You know, I've been rehabbing and working all summer to get back, and I feel like I'm really close. And with 2 months left before training camp, I feel really optimistic and positive, and looking forward to overcoming last season.
Kobe with the Achilles played doctor for us. Have you talked to him? How's he doing?
Well, I'm not much of a doctor, but if I know Kobe, you know, and a little psychology, I would imagine he'll be back in record time and be back to his old tricks. You know, he's incredibly determined, and you know, when an obstacle is put in front of him or when someone tells him he can't do something, you know he's going to respond. So I have no doubt he'll be back and he'll be looking as good as ever.
Steve, I know you were in the meetings with Dwight Howard and many others as your team tried to convince him to stay. It's been almost a month since he chose to leave LA. What do you think the Lakers didn't have that Dwight Howard wanted or needed?
That's a good question. You know, I don't know if I could necessarily say what he wanted or needed, but, you know, maybe we weren't, you know, that he just never seemed comfortable, you know, the entire season. He never really felt at home, if you ask me. So, you know, I kind of had a sense that he wasn't that comfortable early on, and I wasn't surprised that it seemed like he was going to leave us. We tried really hard to make a pitch to keep him, but, you know, I think in the end my instincts were right. You know, he just never seemed really at home with the Lakers.
You know him well or well enough. Of course, you know Kobe. How much of their strained relationship do you think affected Dwight's decision?
I mean, I think if anything, that's just a part of things. I think you can't really look at one thing in this situation and say that's the reason Dwight wanted to move on or he wasn't comfortable in LA. I think, you know, it's got to be a bunch of things that factor into the equation. And, you know, I probably don't even know all the factors that led to it. And maybe it's just he wanted to start over and be somewhere else. But, you know, we move on as well, and we look forward to trying to put together a team with the new pieces, and I think a lot of us are determined to have a much better season this year and put on a show and have an entertaining year for our fans.
Yeah, and I know that's the fun part here is you get the opportunity to move on. No Dwight, no matter world peace, no acquisitions of note though, Steve. What is your take on your current roster?
Well, I mean, Kobe Bryant is going to be back, I have no doubt, and you know, he's still one of the best players in the game. Pau Gasol is a tremendous player. We got another group of guys that play with a lot of heart and toughness. So, you know, maybe being the underdogs to a certain extent isn't the worst thing for us. We got a lot of guys coming off injuries. We're kind of counted out early, so you know, we'll quietly try to find ourselves, build an identity through training camp, and see if we can surprise some people.
In case people are wondering at home, you are joining us from New York because, and I had no idea this was happening, you tried out today for Inter Milan. It's for the inaugural Guinness International Champions Cup. You're a big soccer guy, and we're actually showing video right now of you on the field. Tell me, how did the tryouts go with Inter Milan?
Do you have the clip of me scoring?
So far, no.
No, that's weird. I don't know how that didn't make it in there, but yeah, I mean, tryout might be a little bit based in fiction, but they were gracious enough with the help of Guinness, who's brought Inter Milan, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Everton, Valencia, all these great European clubs over to play in the Guinness International Champions Cup. So they afforded me the opportunity, and I got to say it was like a dream come true for me. I was like a little kid on Christmas out there. And I also want to say thanks to Inter. Those guys were incredible. They all, you know, embraced me and were out there shouting instructions to me and trying to get me the ball and stuff. So I had a blast. And, you know, thanks to Inter, thanks to Guinness, and hope you guys get a chance to watch some of the Champions Cup.
Yeah, wait, what kind of feedback did they give you?
What kind of what?
Feedback, advice.
Oh, feedback.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? It would be like volumes of advice probably. So they were incredibly, you know, kind and gracious with their time and supported me. You know, I think they realized that they had an old, you know, child out there with them that was just living his dreams, and they made it a lot of fun for me.
And again, I don't know if everybody knows this. Yes, you're a huge soccer fan, but you also are part owner of the MLS franchise, the Vancouver Whitecaps. So yes, we know and love Steve Nash for his basketball, but he is a soccer aficionado too. We will try to find that scoring video, okay? And I'm sure it'll make the top 10 if we can track it down somehow, Steve Nash.
That's a deal. You guys better find it.
Okay, we're looking. Lakers guard Steve Nash, the two-time NBA MVP. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm glad you enjoyed yourself on the field today.
Thanks, Sage.